Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a deeply technical and honestly, surprisingly emotional journey that pretty much every home lab enthusiast or sysadmin is going to face eventually. We're talking about the massive, totally daunting task of migrating a gigantic ZFS storage pool. Just imagine it. You pour your heart, your soul, and, a whole lot of expensive hard drives into building the absolute perfect storage server, only to realize the operating system running the whole shebang just doesn't serve your needs anymore. The urge to jump ship is incredibly strong, but your precious data is basically held hostage by that old system. So how do you escape without losing literally everything? Well, that is exactly what we're mapping out today. Okay, let's dive into this with a quote that really hits the nail on the head. ZFS is portable, but it remembers where it came from. This mysterious little phrase captures the whole core challenge of our journey today. ZFS as a file system is famous for being robust and highly portable. Theoretically, you can just yank your hard drives out, plug them into a totally different machine, and carry right on. But operating systems, they leave their fingerprints all over your drives. And those lingering memories from your old setup can actually turn a straightforward migration into an absolute nightmare.
Which brings us to part 1, the TrueNAS breakup, and what happens when the NAS stops feeling like yours.
So you might be wondering, why on earth would someone completely ditch a custom-built TrueNAS scale machine, especially one they just put together in 2024? I mean, building a storage server takes serious time and money. To abandon a fresh build means there's a fundamental clash between the software and the admin's vision. And here are the exact frustrations driving this tech breakup. First off, users are hitting this wall of annoying restrictions when they try to back up their ZFS datasets to standard, mounted ext4 drives. Second, TrueNAS actually announced the deprecation of its virtualization features, completely stripping away tools admins heavily relied on. And third, there's just this growing, inescapable feeling that the platform is seriously narrowing what users can actually do. It's that friction of an appliance like NAS forcing very opinionated workflows that suddenly feels way too restrictive.
And honestly, this text right here brilliantly illustrates the emotional side of things. When a product stops matching how you want to work, it stops feeling like a helpful tool and starts feeling like a cage. See, TrueNAS absolutely shines when you want a strict set-it-and-forget-it appliance experience. But the second those opinions start blocking your standard maintenance habits or suddenly stop you from running flexible backup jobs, well, the appliance feels less like a tool and more like a locked cabinet with your own disks inside. People don't leave because of a single missing menu button, they leave to get the keys back.
So let's look at part 2, the migration dream, Proxmox and the intact pool.
When you're that frustrated with restrictions, you're naturally going to look for freedom. Enter the rebound solution, Proxmox VE. Proxmox is massively appealing here because it's this incredibly freeing, Debian-like environment. It lets you mount whatever drives you want, run super flexible backups, virtualize heavily, and honestly, it lets the admin make their own bad choices. It represents total, unadulterated control. Now, the absolute dream outcome of this migration is to cleanly replace the TrueNAS OS with Proxmox, but, and this is the kicker, retaining that fully loaded ZFS pool. No complete rebuilds, no spending days transferring 80 terabytes of data over the network. Because ZFS is fundamentally portable, this dream feels totally possible. But like we talked about earlier, operating systems are messy. Trying to seamlessly graft a new brain onto an old body, that is where things get incredibly dangerous.
Moving right along to part 3, the great debate, import versus clean rebuild. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly captures the two violently conflicting schools of thought in the home lab community when it comes to handling a massive storage pool during an OS migration. On the left side, we have the optimists. Their strategy, just import the pool and don't overthink it. And hey, it saves an immense amount of time and skips reloading data, but it absolutely requires high anxiety and exact precision during the install. On the right side, we have the cautious camp. Their motto is the clean rebuild. Yes, it carries a massive time cost to transfer all that data back over the network, but it guarantees certainty, zero legacy ghosts, and a perfectly clean slate.
Which brings us to the core technical issue in part 4, the boot pool danger. Beware the rule pool.
So you have to ask, why wouldn't everyone just choose the much faster import option? Well, it's all because of a terrifying little entity known as the root pool. This is the specific boogeyman that causes seemingly straightforward imports to go horribly, horribly wrong, even for seasoned admins who've successfully virtualized TrueNAS under Proxmox with HBA pass-through before. The root pool, or root pool, is a highly critical ZFS boot pool that contains the operating system itself. Here's the massive danger. If you install Proxmox, it creates its own root pool. If you then plug in your old TrueNAS drives and they also bring along an identically named system pool, the whole system panics. You get massive conflicts. The new OS gets totally confused about which pool is the real root, resulting in ugly naming collisions, cache issues, and just total mount point chaos.
And that leads to a really painful reality. Instead of a quick, slick migration, you end up spending your entire weekend debugging a half-imported storage layout. You're constantly fighting these mystery properties left over from TrueNAS that are completely confusing Proxmox. You're untangling old boot pole ghosts while your users, or let's be real, your family members, wait around for the network shares to finally come back online. This specific, maddening nightmare is exactly why the cautious side sometimes just prefers to wipe everything and start entirely from scratch.
Let's look at how to actually pull this off in Part 5, this staged risk strategy, also known as the belt and suspenders approach. Listen, a successful tech breakup, especially one involving terabytes of precious data, should never, ever rely on bravery. It definitely shouldn't rely on heroic, last-minute command line improvisation. Honestly, a good migration should be incredibly boring. So, the crucial point is to follow a deliberate path. Let's walk through the exact steps. Step 1. Archive everything. In our source example, this means running an rsync over a 10 gigabit network to a totally separate Debian machine. Step 2. Cleanly export the ZFS pool from TrueNAS and shut the machine down. Step 3, and actually this is absolutely vital, physically unplug the ZFS data drives. I know, it sounds totally paranoid, but it physically prevents the new OS installer from even touching your data. Step 4, install and patch Proxmox cleanly onto the OS drive. And finally, Step 5, reconnect the drives and attempt a careful, highly deliberate import.
Now, if that careful import from Step 5 fails, or if you run into that dreaded rpool conflict we talked about, you don't panic. Why? Because your backup is your escape route, not just a wish. Because you took the time to do that 10 gigabit rsync archive back in Step 1, you still completely own your data. You haven't lost a single thing. If the import fails, you just transition straight to a clean rebuild and copy the files back over. The real win in leaving any restrictive platform isn't about proving the old software wrong. It's about making absolutely sure it can't take your files down with it.
Which leaves us with one final, really important thought for today's explainer. When it comes to your data, what is your ultimate priority? Time or certainty? Keeping an old pool definitely saves time, if it works, but rebuilding a pool from scratch saves you from uncertainty. It's basically the ultimate trade-off in system administration. So as you plan your own home lab upgrades and your own great migrations, I want you to look at your storage arrays and ask yourself that exact question. Thank you so much for joining me, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning your tech stack.